Hello, friends. Thank you for hanging around. I'm a little late, but I made it. I had to go down the street and get me a pretty nice lunch. Ah, I know that you'll come back if you were here. Ah, you've read the title. You know what I'm all about. This is my life, and it's been a while. It's my lunch over there next to the light behind me. Welcome to PJ's study, to my home, to my office. Let me give you a little update on Tommy. Tommy is my friend that's under my arm. You see how big it's gotten? It's gotten big, hasn't it? That tumor is it's growing. Yeah, it's growing. I try to keep it from hurting by keeping a pillow under it. That's the best I can do. Thank you. Well, Sonya, let me spend a little time speaking about the death of Miss Massy. There's so much going on, being said over the internet, social networks, people arguing. Well, I'm going to say this. For an individual who has never, ever experienced any kind of racism, then you will have no idea of what I'm talking about. I went to this place to get some lunch because I kind of like their food. Their food is very good. I'm going to have to heat it up when I get back, and there's always a wait there. And it's not a black owned business. It's a white owned business. But I frequent it because of the food. I don't limit myself because an individual is any minority. I like certain African American dishes far much better than I like the white dishes because of the flavor content. But this one, they really do noodles and ground beef nice. I won't give you their names. I don't want to advertise. Let's talk about Sonya Massy. And if you're not here to chime in about it, you can chime in later. First of all, yes, I have some rudimentary questions before I get into why she even called the police. I am the kind of individual that if there was a problem in my home, I'm going to work it out with someone. But I'll tell you now, I'm not calling the police. Even if someone was here trying to kill me, I wouldn't call the police. I was an LAPD chaplain. You all know that? My response is normal and typical because most of the black men that have a brain that's talking about this are responding in the same way that I am. I'm not responding in unbelief. Oh no. I'm not responding in unbelief. I'm going to carry this where it needs to go. Somebody let me hear what this lady that has a YouTube channel named Candace said. I forgot to turn on my dome lights. What's the matter with me? Am I losing my mind? Yeah. Let me talk to you guys. And let me get something cool to drink. When you call for help from the police department, you need to keep in mind certain things. And one of the main things that you need to keep in mind, you excuse me, but I have to I'll eat my lunch later, and I am hungry. You need to keep in mind that you're calling people with arms, weapons of mass destruction. You're calling these people for what? To help you? I want you to follow along with me. While I was married in this house, let's call it 35 years, with my woman and my daughters, not once was there an incident that prompted me where I would have to call for outside assistance in my life. I now have cancerous tumor. If this thing eats and it's eating, if it eats and I should fall unconscious, I'm not calling the police. Do I have the same idea about law enforcement that I held to when I was a younger man? No, because the world has changed drastically since I was a young man. Let's change this color, huh? Let's change this color. I think I want to do that. There we go. Far better color. Let's see. I'll get around to it. I'll get around to it. Don't worry. I'm just fooling around. I'm getting around to it. Just a second. I'm a different man. Leave that up there. Than I was when I was a younger man. I was naive. When I bought this home, I was a different man. Now, since destiny, fate has set in, and I know that my departing this life is far more imminent than my taking out another mortgage to finance my house so that I can get more money, so that I can go on vacations, go to the beach, go to the mountains, buy a new car, and do all that. Those days are over. So, as an older man, 80 plus, I view my life from a completely different vantage point. Let's look at Sonya's case. And first of all, I'll say to her family, friends, those who loved her, who understood her, you have my deepest sympathy. Your loved one is exited from the planet. You excuse me, but I'm going to have to, because it's been over the time limit and I was away from my house. I have to take my pain medication. PJ is in constant pain. And of course, my name is on here. So I'm allowed to take this because the pain at times is, and my doctor tells me it's only beginning. It's excruciating. So those of you that don't agree in taking drugs, mine are prescription. But let me say this. Because I want to speak about Sonya. We won't get into why she made the phone call. I'm wondering why she didn't call her daddy. I have two daughters, and even though I'm not right around the block from them, they'd call me if they were having issues like that. And my daughters wouldn't call the police because, man, I got so much to talk about. I want to make a statement about Kamala Harris. Just, I want to get into I want to ask this question. Are Black people truly cognizant of what's going on right in front of them? What I mean by that, first of all, Kamala's not Black. She's not a Black woman. And y'all know, I don't even vote. I haven't voted since I was in junior college when I took political science, did the research and did all that. I knew years ago, back in the 70s, when I was in junior college, I said, oh no, I did register. I don't think they been sending me, no, they haven't been sending me any Democratic or Republican things because I haven't voted in so many years. I don't vote. Simply put, because what are you voting for? Who are you voting for? Do you know the people you're voting for? Can I eat my lunch in front of you? Would that offend you? Because I'm hungry. Because just drinking this juice isn't enough. I'm going to shift my camera around because you know me. I have no manners. I am hungry now. The food was hot when I got it. And I desire food in my stomach. I'll just have this conversation. You can watch me. Okay? Don't worry about where I got it from. Most of you wouldn't go there. It's a pricey place. But It is worth it. The pasta's nice. But what's better than the pasta? And there's enough pasta here for 3 grown adults. Yes. I intend on being myself. And I hope it doesn't offend you. And I'm glad my dog is locked out because much better. Do you understand the world you live in today? Somebody's writing me out. I'll read it eventually and I'll talk to you. Do you understand the world that you live in today? Every time something goes wrong, you want to call the police, huh? This is so good. And your friend PJ is so hungry. So hungry. Wait a minute, I got some people joining the conversation. We're going to talk about Miss Massy. Don't worry. Wait a minute. PJ's hungry. I mean it. Do you understand the world you're living in? Oh, thank you, Lee. Thank you, Lee. I will. Lee, you're going to have to send me a picture because I don't remember you. I've met so many people in my pastoral career over the years, and I'm 80 years old now, and I'm no longer a cleric. I live at peace here in my home. My daughters come by and visit me for it. Doesn't this look good? Doesn't that Getty look good? I'm telling you. But I still have an opinion. The sauces that they use are just delicious. But let me get back to the subject matter. I've eaten enough. I had to satisfy my hunger because I'm hungry. And what I know about cancer is that, and this is the kind of cancer where all of the cells are different. So you can't treat it with one thing. You end up losing your hair, your mind, and everything else. So I've elected to ride it out. What I mean by that is let the cancer run its course. Don't panic. And I have never been afraid of death. I think it's a wonderful tool that nature has chosen, and so that we won't be here taking up too much space. But do you know what you're doing when you call the police into your home? Like I said, may Sonya Massy, wherever the afterlife is for her, rest in peace. She won't have to deal with that, because from what I understand, when that bullet hit her face, it tore her face off. She died instantly. That's terrible for young people to talk about, to think about. I was looking at one black man's, I was in the living room watching YouTube on my big screen, and he had a Bible. He didn't open it. And he said, I just don't know what to do. Young man, didn't have gray hair like me. He said, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to think. That's why I thought that I'd come on today. It's been a number of weeks since I've been on. I don't like coming on talking about my death-defying cancer, because it's going to do what it's doing, and it is what it is. But I want to talk to those of you that are alive and have children, have families, careers, hopes, and anticipation. But be careful, especially if you're black, calling a policeman in your home. Those of you that know me know I have a lot of dealings with young black men in their 20s and 30s. That's my favorite animal crop. I like hanging out with young black men. I think they are the most progressive, intelligent, smartest, innovative creatures that ever walked the planet. I'm not ashamed to say it. And I tell these black men, when they come around me, there's one thing I want you to be careful of. And that's you having the police creep up on you. When I was a civilian traffic officer, before they got all this modern technology, they trained us at the Los Angeles Police Academy downtown. Elysian Park, is that what they called it? The police academy was there. And we had to take training there because we were a quasi, as a civilian traffic officer, it isn't like it is now. They're totally a civilian organization employed by the city of Los Angeles. But when I was there, we were quasi police. We had the same radio as they had. We were on their same frequency. We sat in roll call in the back of the room. They have all the cops there, sitting in roll call, morning, afternoon, or evening. I've worked all three watches. Didn't have anything against the police then. Don't have anything against them now, because I love all men. If Lee said I trained him, Lee knows that Pastor John has always loved everybody. Ooh, look at this. did not know I was this hungry. Oh my goodness. And for those of you that tune in later, you know my drill. I'm not trying to be offensive. This is an important subject matter for me to talk to you about. And I don't want to rush it because I've been looking at other people on social media talk about this. They're hollering in each other's face. Some are saying that the cop was right. The other was saying that the cop was wrong. Well, let me tell you this. I watched a video, even the slow motion part. One lady had on my Facebook page the actual video where you could see the pot clearly and her hands. And I know the way the cops are trained because, as I just said, I used to set in some of the training with them. So I know what I'm talking about. One time there was a man in my house in his early 30s. He wouldn't leave my house. I want you to bear with me. I know I'm talking slow. Some of you got to go back to work. Come back and view this later. I'm not concerned about live hits or anything like that. I'm just having a conversation with you, my brothers and sisters, because all of this hollering back and forth over the internet is stupid. I called the LAPD to my house because I told this man, you have to leave my house because you differ with me. The man said, I don't have to leave anything. You don't tell me what to do. I said, this is true. I should not assume to tell you anything. I said, and I was 78 at the time. It was well over 2, maybe 3 years ago. And I said, and I'm too old. I don't go around fighting nobody. I've never been a brawler because when I was under the auspices of the call, it says that the man of God, the pastor, should not be a brawler. I don't brawl with men. Fight, and you get a stick, I get a stick, and I'm going to hit you. You talk about my mama, I talk about your daddy. Even though I was born and reared in the projects, I'm not like that. Nor are my daughters. Nor was my wife. We were not ghetto Negroes. I give it to you like that. That wasn't me. These 2 white cops that came in on Sonya. And I don't know why Sonya even called the police. She said a brawler, somebody sneaking around outside of the house. Well, 1:30 in the morning, her children, and you can see that obvious from the other cop's body cam, was in their room. Just talking you through it. Did you see the condition of the apartment? Oh, and don't tell me that don't count because you don't see. I was a philosophy professor. I taught logic. And it's obvious that you are dumb and stupid. Did you see the condition of Sonia's apartment? Any of you that's been following me for a minute knows, because I have shown you pictures of my home while I do a webcast, or if I just want to show you my home. You are in my office, quote unquote, bedroom, because as a cancer patient, I keep my books handy, everything I like handy around me. And trust me, I had to clean this room up because it was looking kind of shabby. Because when you have cancer, you move slower. And oh, with Tommy here, he hurts when he wants to hurt. And I just used to have clothes all over the place. But if I called the police and they came in my front door, you don't find, excuse my French, shit all over the place. I think I counted 3 big TV screens. What's that all about? Things just out of pocket. Now put your wait, somebody else wrote me. Use the mind of a cop. Oh no, that was all right. You're a cop and you go in somebody's house. And I'm not trying to give no defense for this guy. Because from what I saw, the guy was a psychopathic killer on the loose. I ain't talking about all cops. Most policemen that I knew personally was some of the finest persons you ever want to meet. But if their wife cut him off, or if things are going wrong in their lives, that fool ain't got no business picking up no gun, no taser, no nothing. Because this man was a psychopath. If her, wait a minute, let's get deep into this. What set him off? Her cursing him in the name of Jesus and calling him Satan? Cops be called more than that. Follow me. Follow me. I know you've been listening to these other people on the internet. Now, you know, I tell you what I do. I know what I need because it would give me a little bit more clarity. So what I'm going to do is try to bring a little bit of that to the table. And most of you that watch my clips, you know what I'm talking about, because I need these things these days to help me with the world that I live in. I'm just telling you up front. That's why if I had a heart attack, I wouldn't call for a paramedic, a policeman, or nothing. I just die out. I told you about a very uncomfortable experience I had in my hospital. I was having some medical issues. That's why I was in hospital. I was bleeding thick blood out of my bladder. Worse than a bladder infection. It had to do with my prostate. And if you know the proximity of the bladder to the prostate and all that, you can understand I'm an old man. I have a diaper on now because when you become an old man, you're different. When you go to the hospital, you expect the healthcare people to care for you. I had a white doctor who was attempting to pump all the liquid out of my bladder. I was taking an IV, the liquid's in, and he was pumping it out until there was no blood in it. I had a foreign doctor that was doing it first. No pain at all, none. And I mean, where they had something inserted in my penis, pulling it out of my bladder. As painful as the procedure is, he was very gentle, kind. You hear me now? Asking me occasionally, Mr. Coleman, are you fine? I said, I'm fine. Thank you. I said, you're the professional. I don't tell you what to do. Well, I had to have the same procedure a number of hours later. And I won't give you my hospitalization. It doesn't matter. We're talking about dealing with human beings. Well, when the white doctor came in, and it was his duty roster, and he said, I got to check and see if your bladder is clear. I said, won't my urinating let you know that? No, I got to see now. He was using the same procedure, the same device. My man got on me and he started sucking that thing out of me. I thought I was going to die. I have a very high tolerance for pain. And I'm not a crybaby. I know that sometimes things hurt you. You can't help it. The nurse had come back in the room and I told this white doctor, I said, you, don't you ever put your damn hands on me again, as long as I live. And he said, what? Did I do anything wrong? I said, I'm not a medical physician. I'm not going to question what you did to me. I'm questioning the disposition of the attitude that you had while you were doing it, sir. I had the exact same procedure done a few hours earlier, and I did not experience this. Oh, you want to file a report? Go ahead, file a report against me. I said, see, I knew I was dealing with a racist. But I knew that I wasn't discharged from that facility. Listen to me, young people. Know your surroundings. Know that there's a liability in this culture, in this country. If you call on anybody to put their hands on you, that's not a part of your tribe. Did you hear what I said? See, what we're dealing with in America now, we got this jive time election coming up. Tribalism. Black people tickle me. I'm going to vote for Kamala because she's more like me. No, she's not. No, she's not. You listen to the pundits that are talking about this stuff now. How about the black pundits that are married to a different tribal nomenclature than you married to? Consider the person's tribe. It's obvious when you watch the Sonya Massy clips from the first till she went down that the leading officer, who didn't have his body cam on, that's sign number one that something's wrong. I guess you can find it on the internet now why he lost his job at the 5 previous stations that he was working at. This man was a mental case when they gave him the badge, the gun, and the stick and the taser. I recall, you can check the facts if you want. When Parker Center, the building is no longer there. When Parker Center was a police station downtown, Chief Parker was the police chief. I knew because I worked for LAPD as a warehouseman. I worked for LAPD Supply Division. We supplied, at that time, 13 or 14 police precincts all around the whole city. You had like Hollenbeck Division for the East Side. All these other divisions, all around the city base. They were hiring cops. Where do you think they were hiring the cops from? Because there was no jobs down in the South for these poor, what we used to call them peckerwoods, these white boys. And LAPD put out a massive hiring thing to hire these white boys. Coming from Bull Connor South, coming into LA. That's when they finally had to ban the chokehold because they were choking brothers to death, busting in the brother's front door, tearing up stuff on purpose. And don't have your stuff in order and in shape because the cops would come in and tear your damn place up. Now, when you have these rascals, like this cop that shot the Massy woman, their tribe, they have an idea that we are ingrates and that we don't deserve this or that. And they try to move without fear of being challenged because I'm dealing with those kind of people from that kind of background. And usually they got away with it. I didn't talk about it much because it didn't happen to me. I know people that it did happen to. The worst division in LA at the time when I was a young man coming up was 77th Street precinct. After that was Newton. Newton Street was notorious. Central Division, your local division, they had to deal with politics. That was your business district, downtown LA. Remember, I worked for the PD. All of my LA City career was working for the LAPD. 18 years. I worked for that organization. And I told my wife when I married her in 1969, no, do not call on any LAPD officer or a sheriff deputy to come to our rescue for anything because of the tribes that they're from. They're not from my tribe. I know this may sound cruel, especially to some of my older friends that are not black. You may think that I'm giving a wrong perspective. My neighbor, he's a white man. He lives right next to me. I'm 80, he's 84. He had a relative of his that was a cop. And he worked out in the valley. He has to come by and see his relative, right? You think he ever spoke to me? I work for the same department. That man never spoke to me, and he was a cop. I wasn't from his tribe. I want to educate you young people. Miss Massy should have never called for the police. Miss Massy would be alive today. Since I watch all the clips and I listened to how her father was saying how much he loved her, well, he had to know that she had some what of a disability to get along. This is in hindsight, but she should have called her daddy. I haven't always been like this. When I was a kid, my daddy, we'd be in the car waiting at a signal light. Black and white unit would pull up. This was in the 50s. Black and white unit would pull up. The windows were down. It was a hot summer day. My daddy said, John Jr., Ross Allen, Donna Jean, my brother and sister's name. If you ever in trouble, you can call him. Because you see that sign on the side of that car? To protect and serve. My daddy taught me that. And those cops would say, that's right. You listen to your daddy now. We were little kids. Sorry, but Tommy's eating. I feel sorry for Miss Massy's family. Don't be naive, people. Just watching the videos, watching people argue about this, it's troublesome for me. I used to preach and tell them about how bad it was going to get. There was a young black guy. I guess he was in his 30s. He was talking about this massive killing, and what he did is he said, the Bible tells us that some people sin, and he said this was sin. What is it that the woman saw in this man that would prompt her to say, "Get behind me, Satan," or something to that degree? What is it that you think prompted her as a black woman? One thing that I can say, and maybe I can enlighten you. People of my tribe, see, because you find a lot of black people that are not from the same tribe I'm from. They were like those black people that took the trinkets of jewelry and bullshit that the Europeans gave them if they would go deep into the bush and rip off their brothers and sell them to the pale skinned man on the big wooden ship full of rats and fleas and roaches. And it wasn't difficult for those people to live in that because that's what Europe was. I don't want to be critical because the Olympics is opening up, but have you ever smelt Paris? Seriously. I'm not from that tribe. Some of my friends go to Europe. Oh, don't you want to see the Eiffel Tower? I tell them I can go to Las Vegas. Let me see what Lee is saying to me. Oh, Lee is laughing. Yeah. See, I grew up in the project like most of my peers. Yeah, I got 3 degrees. I earned masters from Biola University, predominantly white graduate school, Talbot Theological Seminary. I have my bachelor's from Cal State Dominguez Hill. And my associate degree from East LA College. I went to school with the Mexicans, went to school with the Asians, went to school with the whites and the blacks. But I know my tribe. I'm talking to you young people. Listen to me. I know a lot of people are going to get offended at me, what I'm about to say. But you guys know me, I've always been an independent thinker. Kamala's not of my tribe. Like I knew all that stuff that Daryl Gates and his cops were doing. I know all that stuff that Kamala's doing when she was here in California. You try to pin her down with some questions about it. She becomes president. Is she going to? No, she's not, because you're not a part of her tribe. And for all you women that are so easily carried away, when somebody start bumping and grinding, even if I did it, shame on you. I've even had some young black men tell me, you just hate black people, John. No, I don't. I don't put up with their nonsense. I only get a few dollars a month for Social Security. But if the government, whoever they are, cut that off, I believe I survive. Because somebody would come by here and throw me a piece of bread with a little tomato paste on it. Know who your tribe is, people. I'm going to share something with you. And I know it's going kind of slow. I've been over an hour already and haven't even raised my voice. I'm going to show you something. I think I showed this to you a few weeks earlier. Oh, I got to move my arm very slow. This left arm. I plan on presenting this questionnaire. I put this together before I took a group of men up to Lake Arrowhead for the men's retreat at my church years ago. Friends, the risk and the rewards. I should read that right. Friends, the risk of having them and the rewards for having them. And I asked my men to just fill in the boxes, yes or no. When things go sour and you really feel lousy, do you have a friend that you can tell? Or are you going to call the police? I just added that last part. See, if you don't have a friend that you can tell when things are going wrong, may my sister's soul rest wherever she is. Because see, you can esoterically incur the name Jesus. That don't mean that you know him. So obviously, if the defense for the cop shooting her was that he's offended that she said he was of the devil, she didn't make a mistake. She just should have kept her damn mouth shut. Because she invited weapons of mass destructions in her house. That wasn't from her tribe. See, if you want to win a lawsuit, a case, keep your mouth shut. All right? Here's the next one. Do you have a friend that you can express any honest thought to without fear of appearing foolish? In other words, could she have called her father or anybody else and they would have said, I know this person and she's not crazy. See what I mean? Because if you look at all the police clips, shot to the face, she's done, when the other cop wanted to bring his kid in. No, man, that was a shot to the face. She's done. He knew what he was doing. Okay? Follow along. Number 3, do you have a friend who will let you talk through any particular problem without giving you advice? This friend will just act as a sounding board. Do you have a friend like that? If you don't, what you calling the police for? You saw that sounding board, didn't you? Turn that fire on, that stove off, which had nothing to do with anything. Wait, I got some more people talking to me. Womanati. Ooh, listen to this. Womanati, thank you. Womanati says, it is quite possible that we've been calling the wrong name from the jump. I question things as I age. Me too. Watch this. I question things as I age. Why would Jews, a Hebrew people, name their son Jesus? This letter J isn't even in the Jewish alphabet. And Womanati continued to say it. We have been calling on Jesus for so long, but something isn't adding up. Well, I'm not going to agree with you fully. I will agree with you partially. And I hope that, yeah, I got time. I got time to rest my case. It is a name that esoterically we can use because it is the spirit of the Hebrew Christ that she was calling. By that name, she called him Satan, implying that Lucifer, Beelzebub, was his captain. Albeit she could have been right. Keep your mouth shut. She was not a wise soldier. That's not the way you fight. But when you go to some of these whacked out churches that our people are going to these days, where everybody's saying, in the name of Jesus, I bind thee, Satan, in the name of Jesus, I stop you from moving. I'm blocking my territory. You better watch that mess. Because that don't work for people that use that name foolishly. That's why I said I can't agree with you on that. As a theologue, I know what it means in the deep sense of it. Now, I asked question number 3. Do you have that kind of friend that you can talk through a problem without giving you advice? Because if she had called me, I would have listened. I had a man call me. And the man called me and said that a mutual person that you know keeps calling me, telling me to send him some money. And I keep telling him that I don't have it to send. And I said to this man, you're lying. You do have it to send. You don't want to send it to him. And he said, well, I have to take care of my family. I said, that's not what he's asking you. You owe him money. Send him the money you owe him. The man said, that's not fair. I told the man, well, it wasn't fair for you to ask for the money if you never had any intention on giving it back, because the man is calling him every day and it's getting on his nerve. So I said, you should never make a deal with the man that you never had intention on keeping. That would be a niggardly move. We haven't been calling on Jesus. If we have been calling on Jesus for that long, it surely wasn't the Jesus of the Bible. Because Jesus is not. Every time you hear a mouse run across the front floor, you think somebody's trying to break in your house. First thing she was legal enough to have it. She should have had a pistol, loaded, cocked. Maybe not in her mental state, but I got one here. And you let somebody come in my house when I'm here by myself at 80 years old, I swear. Let them come in the door, the front door, the window, any way they want. No, I'm not going to show it to you. It's none of your damn business. What's she doing with two children in that house and don't have nothing to protect them? Call her daddy or her brothers or her cousins. Wait a minute, we got another comment. Womanati talks back to me. Womanati says, I agree. Pay it back. It's dishonorable. That's right, you got it. Low and tacky to borrow money, not to pay it back. And the man is calling him, bringing pressure on him, and it's getting on his nerves. So he called me because both men know PJ. And he's calling me to tell him to stop calling me. No, I'm not going to tell him. I said, and your relationship is forever changed with him. And be careful because he's going to take his money back. Wait a minute. We may not agree there because when you look at all of the praising, toe tapping, shouting, dancing, and running to church Sunday after Sunday, the result on calling on him looks questionable to me. Right. Because all you have to do is call on him one time and he hears and he'll answer. You know, when I found out I had this cancer, you know what I said? Thank you, Lord. It wasn't this big under my left arm. Oh no, that's big, ain't it? That ain't no muscle. That's Tommy Tumer. Do you hear me complaining? No. I took pain medication. I asked my doctor, can you stop it? He said, nothing can stop this kind. I said, thank you for talking frankly with me. Any of you know me? I'm not afraid to die. I'm afraid of the process because I don't know what it's going to feel like for my spirit to leave this body. But I cannot wait for that to take place. And I tell people that want to come by and visit me, you ask the ones that come by. If you're crying, I'm going to get the hell out of my house. Coming over here crying in my face. Oh, PJ, I don't want you to die. What? You know anybody that haven't died in this world? We need to grow up. Stop it. So if you come by here, bring me a bottle of red wine. Let's talk about the good times. Now let me ask you, let me see why you got to call the police when you need help, huh? Look at number 4. Will your friend risk your disapproval to suggest to you that you may be getting off track in your priorities? In other words, if you got a friend that can't tell you that you're stupid in the decisions you're making, that's not your friend. Because I want somebody to tell me that. And if you can't tell me that, keep your mouth shut. Lee says, that's a true soldier of God right here. PJ, my dad was the same way. Yes, he was, Lee, because back in the day, we spawned men. I don't know what these dudes are these days. They lose their job, they start crying. Get up off your lazy ass and go out there and get another one. And if you can't get one to make enough money, do what I did. I went to night school for 20 damn years to earn a master's degree. And that's how I was able to stand in front of people and talk and make buku. You can do the same thing in America. Country don't have to be great again. She always been great. I was able to do it. Yes. I can't give nothing but facts, Lee. See, and that's what people want you to do. They want you to compromise yourself to make them feel good because they've never addressed facts at all. And then when something happens like this, when this poor woman has a psychopath come in the house and lives out his psychopathy, no jury in his right. Look, the only jury that would say that that cop was right for what he did would have to be an all-white jury from the South in 1965. I'm just keeping it real because ain't nobody in his right mind in this modern era gonna say, you know, that man didn't have to do that. He didn't. He wanted to see how it felt killing black folk. And for those of you young black people out there talking about, I just can't wrap my head around. Shut the hell up embarrassing me. When the Nazis was doing what they was doing, them Jews could wrap their head around it. The one that had money and had a visa got the hell out of Germany. You can't wrap your head around it. You're one of their tribe. People don't care about you. Look at what's happening in the continent of Africa. I'm serious, black people. You're embarrassing me now. I can't wrap my head around it. What's going on? I held off for days doing this cast. For days. Because I said, you know what? But I had to do it. I said, no, I got to do it. Let me ask you the next question. Because if you don't have a friend yet that you can trust to do any of these things to, you're going to call the popo. Especially if you don't have peace in your house. My name is on the deed of this house. You let somebody try to come in here when my doors are closed and locked and my windows are down and I'm in my bedroom in this room, sleep. You let them come in here. And I love them. I love them. Please don't let it be one of my young friends that I love. Please don't, because that would give me a heart attack if I'd have to shoot him. But some nobody that's full of quaaludes, what they call them? Quaaludes, methamphetamines, getting high, and don't come in my house because I know how to shoot. And even though I got cancer in the left hand, I can fire this arm with the right. I ain't calling the police. Let them come in. I wish I could have heard the police call. It should sound like this. Hello, my name is Sonya. I got 2 babies in the house. I'm here alone. I'm 30-something years old, and I'm frightened because I don't have a firearm, and I need some assistance immediately. I'm afraid. Give my address. When the police come, you should be standing at the door or opening up. They had to wait for her to get it. That proves something's wrong. Now, the first thing that did to the cops is that put in their mind cautionary. This ain't normal. If something's wrong, you meet me at the door. Now, for silly, stupid black people, it's going to say, oh, she couldn't get her clothes on right. Yeah, she was looking for, what was this other document that she was looking for? Her crazy card? Remember, I worked for the LAPD 18 years. Remember, I'm a philosophy professor. Remember, I'm a retired Christian apologist. Remember, I have 3 earned collegiate degrees from the United States of America. Don't talk to me like you crazy. Huh? Yeah, Lee, your father was like that because I wish I could have met him. Because I can't find men like that anymore. They're all arguing like these stupid ass people on the internet. Bah, 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 bah. If they're not of your tribe, they're not going to think like you. They're not going to eat food like you. They're not going to do. And if they marry you, that means they liked you. But in most cases, when people like that marry African Americans, and I didn't marry a black woman, I married an Asian woman. But that Asian woman was not able to persuade me to dissuade blacks in any way in my life. Here I am, 80 years old, still doing what I did on the radio 25, 30 years ago. And y'all ain't got it yet. What's wrong with us? Wait a minute, let me ask you another question. If you had a moral failure, do you know that your friend would stand with you? What you gonna do? Call Dr. Herb, Dr. Phil, Dr. Joe, Judge Sally? What's the matter with you people? Do you have a friend that would judge you like the Supreme Court and say, shut up? Because if you don't, you're gonna call the police. Yeah, you're gonna call the police. The white man, he gonna come and tell you that. No, he not. He gonna come and find something wrong with your room, your disposition. You upset. You're gonna start running your mouth like a stupid baboon. That's what you sound like to me. Not making no damn sense at all. And I'm not saying that it was right for that cop to be on edge because he's supposed to be a trained law enforcement officer. But this was an insane asylum cut loose 5 times and they still hiring him and letting him get out there. You should fire the guy that hired him. I can look at certain people in a different tribe and tell when they don't like me. And you can too if you got a brain in your head. To hear these young black men with their blogs, I just can't wrap my head around what, where, who. I know it is you raised by your mama. You're raised by your mama. Because if you was raised by your daddy like me, and I love you, brother, I tell you the truth. You're not thinking with a logician's mind. You're thinking with a female mind. That you can wink your eye, switch your hip, and everything's going to be all right. That's not going to win Kamala the nomination or the presidency. You better get that through your head. We dealing with real facts here. And some of you are voting because you think she's black. You out of your mind. Her background is more Caucasian than anything. Why do you think she married a Caucasian? Oh, I can't believe this. And ain't nobody saying nothing. It's like, you know what? What you mean? I belong to an organization that I cherish dear to my heart. I remember Kamala Harris was there one weekend. And I didn't go to that particular meeting because I don't believe in politics or politicians. And next thing I know, everybody's trying to take pictures with Kamala Harris. I just shook my head. I said, ooh, that give you goosebumps? That make you feel like you done something? Because you hugged up with Kamala Harris? Do you know what she did when she was top cop here? And I use medical marijuana. And before it became legalized, I was getting it illegal. You know what Kamala would do to me? Why was I using it? Because it helped my whatever. I thought clear, saw through things, and I wasn't a dopehead. Who did Kamala prosecute? Primarily. Now, who you think she gonna prosecute primarily again? Was she born again in your church? Stop it. You're making me. Wait a minute. I had a couple of comments. Let me read because I get going and I like to answer back. Curious if you would care to disclose that your late wife tried to sway you, tried to sway me in which way, and then uh, Lee said righteous, and Lee said, yep, all emotional. Dad said it's facts over the feelings, son. That's right. It's facts over the feeling. And most of these people are operating on their fear. Well, she was a mother and she should not have called them. I'm still a pastor. I'm doing what a pastor does. I'm trying to warn you people. They got other people try to warn you in other ways. You're stupid. So, let me answer the question. Curious, Romanati asked the question. If I care to disclose, did my late wife try to sway me? Try to sway me from what? To be straight from being gay? No, but she taught me how to cohabitate with a woman because at the time when I was married to her, I had never had sexual intercourse with a female, let alone with a male. I was strictly a virgin, but I've always had an affinity for men. Now, why would she try to sway me from who I am? You curious? No, because she would have lost. And then she would have started putting on fake eyelashes, fake tits, fake boobs, and behind for me to like. What you think I like, a fat factory? Some of these women are a disgrace to male sanity. If I was going to fall for a woman, she going to be healthy, fine looking, intelligent, listening to her man, and acting like she got a brain. And you let her come to me with her fist balled up. She'll find herself getting up off the floor. Don't get this twisted. No, this webcast ain't for kids. This is for grown people. Now, some of you say, I'm glad you got, see, here you go. I'm glad you got cancer. And I hope it kills you. Yeah, see it? That's my cancer right there. And I hope it swell up and bursts on you and you bleed to death and you suffer. Yeah, see? You think I want something like that? I got people that know that I got this. I had a friend of mine tell me, and she was a female. She said, John, when it gets to the place where if you can't make it to the bathroom, which is right outside my door, she said, I'll come over, change you, clean the bed clothing and everything, with tears in her eyes. I said, I'd rather a man do it. I don't want you to see that. So I can have what you think I need. See, I know my tribe. And when you know your tribe, you don't listen. Well, how come your wife didn't? I mean, Nadi, stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah. No, you said about blackness and riding with your likeness. Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought you. Yeah. I told you, you married a black man whose parents lived in the project before they bought a house, who struggled for everything we have. And I said, you like my apartment? She said, yeah. I said, when I buy you a house, it's going to be better than this. Why would she try to talk me out of anything? I'm a man. Didn't make no difference. My wife came up in the environment where all they had were nipper huts in the Philippines. You know what a nipper hut is? It is a hut hooch put on pogo sticks because when the monsoons rain, they got flooded out. That's where my wife lived when she was in the Philippines in Odeon Romblon. So you got to get this American mindset out of your head. I married someone that was from my tribe. That's what I caution these young men about. Don't marry these American women, fake eyelashes, fake booties, fake breasts, tattoos all over their body, scarred up, worse than El Capone. Because when they get old, brother, you're not even going to want to look at them if they get old with you. Got another question. Is there a friend with whom you feel you are facing life together? A friend to talk over the struggles, which are unique to you as a person? Do you have a friend that can do that? Do that? What you calling the police for? Trying to help you, young people. I know it ain't a lot of people listening to me now. May not be over 20 people in this world that listen to me. But God bless Google if they leave this saying up on YouTube. Somebody 25 years from now can find this search engine, can go to this and say, so that's what happened to the black people. Yep. And what happened with this voting for Kamala? You check world history. I probably won't be here. I have no trust in it at all. Undeniable fact that the vice president that's running for the presidency was dating certain men that were of the most unscrupulous types. We know him. Come on. What you said, Lee said, me neither. No, wait. I didn't say all of them. I'm just saying, watch yourself, man. See, I get in a lot of trouble from my gay brothers because they say, John, you talk about people too much. I said, that's the pastor in me. I know people, man. Your intentions may be the best in the world. But if someone is ignorant, I just can't wrap my head. All of you that watch me on YouTube that know these people, you can't wrap your head around what happened. Wake the hell up. You're a grown ass man. And men are saying this. I guess they couldn't wrap their head around the draft. When I went into the Army, I didn't volunteer. They sent me a letter. Dear John, bring an overnight case, 2 days of clothes, one change of underwear, toiletries that you use to keep fresh. That's all you need for 2 years. If I had protested that, you know what I wear? Do you know where I would have ended up? They had a prison. It was called Fort Leavenworth in Kansas. That's where I would have spent 10 years if I had refused to answer the script for the armed forces. And they were sending us over there as fresh meat to die in Vietnam. Now tell me what you're going to do. You can't wrap your head around it. You're part of this country. You reap the benefits of this country. Listen to me, young man. You reap the benefits of America. I don't care whether you're gay, straight, whatever. You reap the benefits of this piece of clay. You're going to do what the Homeland Security tell you to do. Now let's take it back to Miss Massy again, because we want you to put the blame where it lies. Did she know who was coming into her house? I was saying, John, if you're going to do a webcast, how you going to do it? I got to figure out how to do it to get their attentions, because they're in fantasy land somewhere waiting for their ride to end so they can take another ride. You can't wrap your head around it. Anybody from another tribe will waste you quicker than you ever thought they never could. The religion that I chose to follow all of my life taught me to love one another, love them that hate you. Now, I can't wrap my head around that, because it's going to take a greater love than I got for me to love that cop the way the Bible tells me to love him. Seriously. I just, I feel just like you young brothers feel. I feel just like I'm so, every time I think of Miss Massy's kids. Oh, oh no. I got feelings. Don't play with me. I got feelings. Y'all need to wake up. Don't get behind this election with this Trumpophobia and this Kamalaphobia, because it's going to lead to mass killing. It's going to lead to mass killing, people. Shit. And they got more guns than we got. I know my tribe. We are loving people. We are. We are loving people. Only reason I take my gun out is if I feel my life is threatened. Now, if the police come out here in a car, black and white unit, Sean Coleman, we know you're in there. We know you got a gun because you said it. Damn straight, I said it on this webcast. We want you to come out with your hands up and locked behind your neck. And don't reach for your cell phone, because they know I try to go to my Facebook and show you guys what's happening. And once I went for my phone in the pocket, that would be a foolish move. They shoot me dead quick. So I wouldn't go for my phone and I walk out. They take my cancerous arm, the left one, twist it behind my back, break the arm off. Blood is spewing out because the cancer is already swelled up. guess what I would do? I would say, oh God in heaven, oh Jesus that I love so much, this hurts me so much. And I know why they're doing it. I thank you for the opportunity to serve you. See, I'm not turning my ankle towards no madhouse. I see these young men talking about they don't know how to deal with it because they ain't got no business dealing with it. Oh my God. I've been talking this long. Wait a minute, I got a few more. Do you have a friend you believe you can trust that if you share confidential thoughts, that they would stay confidential? But every time I see black people calling the police, what they doing? Telling everything in the world on that other black person. When them fools had 50% to do with it. That looks like betrayal to me. Because when I look at that question, I say, do I have somebody that I know will stay confidential? Yes. Because some of the men that hear me do this webcast knows who I'm talking about when I'm using examples. And they won't say a word because they love me. Because I'm trying to levy a point home. You don't make a point unless it's on somebody else's agenda. Don't forget that. Here's another one. When you are vulnerable and transparent with your friend, are you convinced that he or she will not think less of you? And I like to add this to that. Because if you got to even consider that, you need to dump that person. That ain't the person. You may have to call the police. See, if it's no on most of these answers, you end up calling the police. And if you end up calling the police, because their family wouldn't call the police, because they got friends in all these areas to help them through that. People that are got more than you to make it, they utilize their money to prolong their life and to sustain their life. People that don't live with the luxury of knowing what's going on spend more of their money in defense rather than buying a plane ticket to go on a vacation. Me and Lucy, one time in our lives, went to Hawaii on a vacation. We took the girls with us because I've never had a lot of money. Went to Hawaii. We invited one of our best couple of best friends because I said to Lucy, we're going to have to look out and find some of our best friends because let's let them come and live in our house and give them a vacation from their world. That's how much I love people. And we did. We chose a couple. The lady is still, as far as I know, a beautiful spirit. I haven't spoken with her since my wife's death because she was a member of the church. And I don't know whether she sided with the people that caved in my life. But when I look back at her husband, I heard him make a statement after he had divorced his woman. I never loved her. And I couldn't comprehend. Hey, I couldn't wrap my head around that because I gave him marriage counseling. See? Got to be careful how you choose your friends. Be careful. The devil don't only come in white people's bodies. And me, John Coleman, this guy named Lee Arnold, he says he knows me. I don't remember him, but if I had ever had a conversation with him, he would know if I'm lying to you right now and say, "You've changed, John. You can't change from what God has made you." This is what I want to help you with because I don't have to be here all day. I only got about 15 minutes. This will be my longest webcast of date. Start thinking for yourself. You can tell the old man is getting weary. And I'm not going to lie to you. This thing hurts. Even though I got about another hour or so, 2 hours or so before I take another pill because it's starting to eat more. Now you notice, I'm not the only senior citizen that has a under left arm tumor. But you notice what I'm not doing, senior citizen? I'm not cursing, swearing, giving a poor example to my young people. Because all of us are going to get something. Mine is cancer. And if you're men, there's a verse in the Bible. I think, I forget who was talking to who. Paul was talking with somebody, I think. And he said, "Quit you like men." Oh, I wish I could find that verse right now. But look it up in your concordance in the Greek. It says, "Quit you like men." He was telling Timotheus, the young preacher, stand on your feet and stop crying about shit when blood sheds. Quit you like men. Do what a man is supposed to do in his tribe. Behave like a man. Stop behaving like your mama. She can't help it. She's your mama. Every time something happens in an apartment complex, see all these black women out there screaming and their daughters, shut up, quit you like men. Take control of your community. I know this kind of language make you lose all that. I'm not trying to get points. I'm not trying to be popular. I'm an 80-year-old black man telling you, young black men in this community, and if you want to be gay, go ahead and switch your ass. I don't care. I'm gay. I just don't switch mine. I don't do that stuff. But I'll tell you one thing, you better quit you like men. This era of where you're going to depend upon a particular political party to bail out your stupidity is over. I'll tell you all the truth, and I'm not lying. Oh, should I tell them, Lord? When I came down with this cancer, I praised God. I said, thank you. Now take me home. And I didn't say to no heaven with no mansions in it and street paved with gold and where there's a banana bush on every corner. I didn't say that. I said transition me to the next level because that's where my tribe has always been. You get locked too deep into Christianity, you might as well make yourself a statue in the Vatican somewhere. I can't wrap my head around it. Tell your friends to come to my webcast. I talked about it. And tell your friends because they're answering me now. They can talk back to me. Tell me if you think I'm a jackass. Tell me if hey, I would like some of you to say, oh man, why don't you hurry up and die so we would be rid of your voice and all of that. You want to tell the sage to die? I had one man, he came by here. One said, I heard a quote that says, everyone wants to go to heaven, but they're afraid to die. Yes, you notice I didn't say afraid. I said the process of death. Am I going to choke to death? Am I just going to pass out and black out? Because I've been blacking out here lately. I'm sitting on the couch looking at TV and a nice movie, and all of a sudden my whole world starts spinning. Oh, jeez. I started laughing. I said, it was a good thing I wasn't at the counter. And where is it? Oh, there it is. There's my cane back there. And I got one of them walkers that I use. This is as long as I have ever spoken on this cast, so I'm getting tired, so I'm gonna have to cut it off. But yeah, I got 8 minutes. I'll try to finish it up. I want to implore upon you, and I mean that, Lee. Send me a picture of you so I know who I'm talking to. And Lee, I don't care what color you are. You a member of my tribe because you think like me. You get it? You don't have to be black to be a member of my tribe. That's why I said find out who's a member of your tribe before you start opening up your mouth. She condemned that cop to hell. She just saw him in a sneak preview and gave it to him without checking with the elders. She was right in her estimate. She was damn right in her estimate, but that wasn't the time or the place. And that's why you need elders in the village because she needs to be alive today. Now, you young black men, wrap your head around that and use your blogs to teach my people how to think. And for those of you that's just going to hate me because you need somebody to hate, I'll be dead soon enough. And don't worry, I ain't going to no burning hell either. I don't know what's the matter with you. The God I loved and worshiped my entire adult life is going to send me to a burning hell because I have more of affinity with men than women. And look at the way women are today. And you want me to have an affinity with that? You're mistaken, buddy. And I know a black woman from an Indian Kashmirish Aryan in a minute. Do your research. Then cast that vote for Kamala. And I have no hatred against her. I hope she wins. I really do. Let's keep hope alive. Because Trump is, to me, an insane asylum gone mad. But it's that kind of spirit that can work against our people, especially if our people do not know what is going on. This was planned. They have people like that on in governmental agencies all over this country, waiting for orders. Wrap your head around that. No, I can't prove nothing. I'm just an old white-haired man speaking.
Unknown caller.
Hmm. And in my estimate, they should remain unknown. Let me see who this is. Hmm.
Hello. This is an automated message from Spectrum about an important change in the status of your account. This call may be recorded for quality and security purposes. Para español.
No, that was on a double call. I paid my Spectrum bill today because I want to see the opening this evening of the Olympic Games. That's why I paid my Spectrum bill because my money's always tight and they tell me that they're going to shut it off. I paid it. Let's see. Lee says before we leave, he says, though we never met, I'm a black man. Oh, okay. Found you on YouTube a long time ago. Okay, Lee. And always check you out. And I understand. I always check you out. I understand you. Okay. Thank you, Lee. I love you more for that. I've heard this before. I'm headed to work. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Man, I wish you could have watched the Olympic openings with me. You enjoy your day at work too, Lee. Thank you, my brother. I love you much. See, I sell myself short because I think that the only people that listen to me are those cross-eyed church people who are nuts. That's why you should not use those statements like that because the organized church is from the pit of hell. And when you say, I bind thee, Satan, you see what you did? You let him know you know who he is. He lived in a world full of trouble, living double, and he used his. Let's just hope that the jury accuses him of first degree murder and gives him life in prison, and all the prisoners are all black. Thank you for coming to my website. Again, pray for them babies and a father. I doubt if they'll ever see this because I don't merit anything. Wait a minute, we had a new man tune in. I think I know who this is. Yes, Xerix, I just spoke this whole hour on the shooting and on Kamala Harris and everything. I've spoken so much, man, that I hadn't got sleepy. Uh, I'd like you to answer a question, though. Is Kamala black? And if she isn't, why are all the black women voting for her? Oh, I wish you were on live with me. You know, this I don't understand. She's not even a part of their tribe. And don't say that it's a female thing, because you will never have more females outvoting a male candidate if a male, because a male is not going to follow a female. It's not going to do it. You may not be at a keyboard, but yes, I'm on. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to my website this afternoon. And wait a minute, Eric's answered the question. Let me see what he said. No, she is a uh, a Jamaican and Indian. She has no association to our black sister culture. None at all. I know it. None at all. So what's the matter with these black women? Hey, I'm going to tell you this. Let Trump have it. I'm used to his kind running this country. I don't care. See, Zerik's still talking with me. Neither did well. We know about that trick. Oh my God! Look, let me tell you something, man. I don't know why everybody's all upset about this. Wait a minute. Oh, and Lee, you wouldn't know this, but Zerix is a pastor, and he took theology with me in my home for 3 years. I taught him a lot of things that he know about God and the Bible and everything today, and he sees it. I'm telling you, man, these young people are deluded. Man, they, man, please. That's why if you put Trump in, it's gonna be just like when the other dudes was in during the 50s and the 60s. John Kennedy didn't care nothing about us. Oh my God, wait a minute. Oh, you know Xerix, okay. If you can't define it, you can't defend it. That's right. She can't even define why black people that want reparations should get it. She can't define it because she can't defend it. It is never her intentions on giving black people nothing but a few more years for a trial when you didn't find all the dope they had hidden. Thinking about that woman. And you know what? Gentlemen, I watch it on my TV. Oh, see, now my head is spinning. I got to say goodbye because, see, I've been talking about this subject, and this subject matter got my head spinning. That's right, Xerix. I'm glad that we can define it. Thank you for joining me for 2 hours. Xerix, tune in. If you want to call me landline, do so. Lee, if you want my landline number, contact me on Facebook and I'll give you my landline number. God bless you. I've had it. How do I turn it off? I forgot how to turn this thing off. End the stream.